Hey guys, welcome to the next tutorial of ethical hacking and penetration testing via KaliLinux. So, in this tutorial, we will be learning about the database of Metasploit in detail, and after that, we will be checking about the session hijacking and session hijacking for secure layers. That's HTTPS. So, let me go ahead and fire up my KaliLinux. Okay, enter. Metasploit has n number of databases and it's like you can say that it's infinite because it's never ending. The more you keep on learning, the more there is to learn. So in this tutorial, I'll be going ahead and giving you a detailed information about database. I won't be able to cover everything, but I will be covering most of the things today. So most of the important things. Okay, perfect. So I'll just go ahead and fire up my terminal. Okay, so when you're conducting a penetration testing on any of your client, it is frequently a challenge to keep track of everything you have done to the target network. This is where having a database configured can be a great time saver. And Metasploit has built-in support for PostgreSQL and a database system. I have taught you previously about the MySQL, how we could go ahead and use the MySQL or the SQL injection and the SQL map to go ahead and hack into different stuff. So in this tutorial, I'll be teaching you about the Metasploit database. So the system allows quick and easy access to scan information. The KaliLinux gives us the ability to import and export scan results from various third-party tools. We can also use this information to configure module options rather quickly. Most importantly, it helps us keep our results clean and organized. So I'll just first go ahead and see if I could get something from over here. Okay, so no help topics mass database star help, and so I'll just go ahead and type MSF console. So let's go ahead and start or set up our Metasploit database, and in KaliLinux you will need to start the PostgreSQL server before using the database. So let's go ahead and first start service PostgreSQL start. Perfect. And once you have started the Metasploit service, it will create a MSF3 data user and database called as MSF3. So I'll just have to go ahead and start the same thing again. That's service. I'll just go ahead and close this one. Type Metasploit start. So when we load up the MSF console and run the database status, we can confirm that Metasploit is successfully connected to the database. As you can see over here which has been connected. So I can go ahead and type db underscore status. Okay, I need to go ahead and run that in the MSF console command, I believe. Once we started, let's go ahead and check whether our database is connected or not. As you can see, it has started to create the keys that we asked it to. This is the database that it's loading along with the PostgreSQL server. Perfect. So let's go ahead and check whether our database has connected. db underscore status. Okay, perfect. As you can see, PostgreSQL is connected to the MSF3. So seeing this capability is it's meant to keep track of our activities and scans in order. It's very imperative that we start off on the right foot. Once connected to the database, we can start organizing our different movements by using what are called as workspaces. This gives us the ability to save different scans from different locations, networks, and subnets, for example. So issuing the workspace command from the default Metasploit console will display the current selected workspaces. The default workspace is selected when connecting to the database, which is represented by the asterisk sign beside its name. So I'll just go ahead and type workspace, and as you can see, we have this current one is a default. As we can see that this can be quite in handy when it comes to keeping things neat. Let's change the current workspace to MSFU. So I'll just type workspace space MSFU. Okay, I believe it's not accepting. Let me check. Okay, it's not allowing itself to connect. I'll just go and type workspace, and let's see, it's still default. So creating and deleting a workspace, one can simply use the -a or -d. Let me just see what I could get. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, you can go and switch workspace by typing the workspace and specific stuff. And if you need to add a workspace, then I can use -a. To delete, I can use -d. To rename, I can go ahead and use the -e, and I'll just type workspace asterisk. Okay, so this is the default, the name of the workspace is default, as you can see from over here. So let me check if I could go ahead and use the workspace one. Okay, it's not there. Perfect. So I'll just go ahead and create another workspace. So I'll just type workspace -a, and I'll type, let's say, lab 4. That means I'm creating another workspace. If I just go ahead and type workspace again, as you can see, we have two workspaces right now, and lab 4 is the default one. After that, I can just go ahead and delete it by typing -d, and again I am back to the default one. Or so it's that simple. Using the same command and adding the -h switch will provide us with the commands and other capabilities. So from now on, any scanner imports from third-party applications will be saved into this workspace. Now that we are connected to our database and workspace setup, let's look at populating it with some data. First, we will look at the different types of database commands available to use using the help command from the MSF console. So I could just go ahead and type help, and let's see what all do we get. It's an extremely big list, so you will be needing to wait. By the meantime, I'll say that it's actually importing and scanning all the necessary stuff that it has right now, and there's several ways that we can do this, from scanning a host or network directly from the console, or importing a file from an earlier scan. We can start by importing an nmap scan of Metasploitable to host, and this can be done using the database import followed by the path to our file. So as of now, I don't have the nmap scan, but I will surely show you how we could do that. So let me see. Okay, I believe my terminal has stopped. I'll just again go ahead and start it. Perfect. So let me check if okay, I'll first go ahead and import the data. I'll show you how we could go ahead and import the database. And okay, let's say for example, I'll just first go ahead and create a workspace, and after that I'll just go ahead and import the database slash, and if I had the nmap scan over here, I'll just go ahead and type. I don't have it right now, but I'm just showing you how we could do that. And after that, if you go to just go ahead and hit enter, it will go ahead and select the specific nmap scan file. So once completed, we can go ahead and confirm the import by issuing the host command. So you could just type host, and it will show you all the associated commands over here. This will display all the hosts stored in our current workspace. As of now, I don't have any. We can also scan a host directly from the MSF console db nmap. So just type db_nmap, and it will go ahead and show me different options. So scan results will be saved in our current database, and the commands works the same way as the command line version of nmap. That's db nmap -a space and 192.168.123.111. This is just an example, and after you go ahead and do that, I'll just go ahead and cancel it. It will go ahead and start the scanning. That's why. After that, you can just go ahead and type host. It will give you all the necessary details for that. So that would be it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'll be continuing with the backing our data and exporting through different ways through the database command in Metasploit. Hey guys, and welcome to the next tutorial of ethical hacking and penetration testing via KaliLinux. So in this tutorial, we will be taking a look at going ahead and exporting our data and backing up our data through MSF console. So exporting our data outside the Metasploit environment is very simple. We can use the db_export command that will go ahead and gather all our required information, and it can be saved in an XML file. This format can be easily used and manipulated later for reporting purposes. The command has two outputs: XML format, which will export all the information currently stored in our active workspace, and the pwdump format, which exports everything related to the used or gathered credentials. So I'll just go ahead and type db_export -h, and as you can see we have these specific stuff that I could go ahead and import. So I could just type db underscore export and -f xml slash root slash, and let's say if I had that in my workspace, the name of which was test, and the exported ml would be period xml. It won't work right now because I don't have any xml, but if I had, it would straight away go ahead and export all of these things, and using the host command I could again go ahead and see whatever I had imported. So now that we can go ahead and import and export information to and from our database, let us look at how we can go ahead and use this information within the MSF console. Many commands are available to search for specific information stored in our database: host name, address, discovered services, etc. We can even use the resulting data to populate module settings such as remote host. We will look how this is done a bit later. So the host command was used now to confirm the presence of data in our database. Let's look at different options available and see how we could use it to provide us with quick and useful information. Issuing the command -h with the host will display us this menu. So as you can see, we could add different hosts, delete different hosts, or we could only go ahead and show the given columns. So you can set our host and output in a CSV format, and you can search string to filter by. So we will start by asking the host command to display only the IP address and the OS type using the -c switch. So I'll just type host -c address, OS underscore v okay. As you can see, I will only get the address and the OS flavor of whichever host I had. After that, we can also go ahead and set up different modules for that. That won't be a big deal as well. So another interesting feature that will be that is available to us is it has the ability to search all our entries for something specific. Imagine that if we wish to find only the Linux based machines from our scan, we will be able to use that using the -s option. This option can be combined with our previous example, and it can help fine tune our result. So I'll just type the same thing such as host -c address, OS flavor -s, and I can just type Linux. So it will just go and show me all the available hosts which are having the kernel of Linux. Using the output of this example, I can also go and feed into that the TCP scan auxiliary module. Yes, we could do that. So I'll just type show options, and as you can see that these are the different settings that we could go ahead and modify. So we can see that by default nothing is set in our R host, and we'll add that -r switch to the host command and run the module. Hopefully it will run and scan our target without any problems. So just type host -s Linux space -r. So the list is empty and cowardly. Cowardly is an application that goes and tries to scan and gain access into systems. So cowardly is refusing to set our host, the reason being that we don't have anything in specific. Of course, this also works if our result contains more than one address. So I could just type host -r, and it will show me the available host. And you can also see how useful this may be if our database contained hundreds of entries. We could search for Windows machines only, then set the rhost away options for the smb_version auxiliary module very quickly. The set rhost switch is available in almost all of the commands that interact with the database. So I could just type services, and okay, I believe the services command was terminated. Okay, perfect, it's small. I could just type the services and it will give me the services information. If I could type H, it will give me all the information that I could add, modify or delete. So much in the same way as the host command, we can specify which fields to be displayed. Coupled with the -s switch, we can also search for a service containing a particular string. So I could just type services -c name and info -s, or let's say before that info 192.168.172.16. So we could also do that, or here if I am trying to search all hosts contained in our database with a service name containing the string HTTP, then I could type something like info -s s http. I could go ahead and do that. So the combination for searching the things like these are enormous. We can use specific ports or port ranges, full or partial service name when using the -s or the -S switches. So for all examples or just a few, it depends on us. The list goes on, and so I'll just show you a few examples, but you may need to experiment with these features in order to get what you want exactly and need out your searches. So you just type services -c info name -p 445. It means over here the port is 445. I could go ahead and do that, or I could type services -c port and protocol state -p 70 to 81. That means gathering all the protocol and state from the port between 70 to 81. Or I could do something like, let's say, services -s http -c port, and that means to go ahead and check for a port. It will go ahead and gather all the information. Or I could do like something like services -s unr. It will go ahead and give me all of these things in under one command. After that, we have the cxp export as well. So both the host and services commands give us a means of saving our query results into a file. The file format is a comma separated value, or CSV, that's what I call it, followed by the -o with the path and the file name. The information that has been displayed on the screen at this point will now be saved to the disk. So I can just type services -s http -c port 192.168.16.132, and I could again go and type -o and the exact place where it is at root slash, let's say the space was test and http period csv. It will go ahead and save the comma separated value over there. So after that, we could type host -s linux -o slash root slash test slash linux.csv, and it will only search if you had that CXV folder over there. As we have it, it's searching. After that, I could just go and if I wanted to read, I could type cat slash root slash test slash linux period csv. So since I don't have anything over there, it won't be able to read. If I go and type linux, it will still won't be able to read because we don't have anything over here. If I wanted to go and read the http, I could type http and it will show me whatever there it was in the http file. So yeah, that's how we could go and do that. After that, we will that would be it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'll be going ahead and teaching you about the credentials and gathering different information through the HTTP server. Or let's do one thing. I'll just go ahead and complete that in this tutorial only. So if we could also go and gather credentials by typing creds, and it will show us all the wanting credentials. The credential command is used to manage found and used credentials for targets in our database. Running this command without any options will display currently saved credentials. So as with the db_nmap command, successful results relating to credentials will be automatically saved to our active workspace. Let's run the auxiliary module MySQL login and see what happens when Metasploit scans our server. So I'll just select auxiliary. Let me check. I'll use just type MySQL. I'll just first search for the MySQL login. Okay, I have it in the auxiliary version, so I'll just type use auxiliary scanner MySQL login. Perfect. So once I have over here, I'll just go and type run, and I'll see. As you can see, it has failed to validate the rhost since we don't have the rhost. So I'll just type set rhost 92.168.13.12. Some random digits, and if I go ahead and run, it will go ahead and run the specific module towards that, and it will give me the specific stuff. If I wanted the credentials after I have run that, I can just go and type creds and it will give me the saved credentials. So we can see that the module was able to connect to a MySQL server, and because of this, my Metasploit saved the credentials in our database automatically for future reference. So during post exploitation of a host, gathering user credential is an important activity in order to further penetrate to a target's network. And as we gathered sets of credentials, we can add them to our database with the creds-a and we could command, and we could actually go ahead and save that. Okay, I don't think it will go ahead and quit. After this, we can also go ahead and type the credentials along with the IP address, the port, and the administrator, and we could go ahead and gain access to that. So you just type credentials -a and 192.168.12.132. Look, wait, let me go back. Okay, and I just type credentials and -a and 192.68.12.132 -b. That means the port would be 445. I want to access it as administrator, perfect, and the password would be hash. I go ahead and do this, and after this I could straight away go ahead and get the credentials. And once I have compromised the system, one of the objective may be to go ahead and receive the hash dump files. So I could just go ahead and type it something like loot to go ahead and gather these commands. So from either a Windows or Unix system, in an event of a successful hash dump, this information will be stored in our database, and we can view these dumps using the loot command. So it would be loot and not the capital L. And once we have all of these sessions by exploiting and post gathering, we can straight away go ahead and type the loot command to go ahead and gather information. So that's it for this tutorial, and that would be end of the database session for the KaliLinux. In the next tutorial, I'll be starting in with the session hijacking and the secure layer stripping.